Some people build companies, some build machines. I guess I've been trying to build
about this little boy.
And from the age of 3.
Really?
the future. I've been broke. I've been fired. I've slept on factory floors and watched rockets explode. But I never cared about being normal. I cared about making life something more. This isn't a story about money or fame. It's about obsession and how far one person will go to push humanity forward, even when everyone thinks he's lost his mind. I was born in Pretoria, South Africa, 1971. My parents, Errol and May Musk. My dad was an engineer, brilliant in some ways, but also difficult. My mom, a model, full of life and energy. But our house, it was violent. It wasn't an uncommon thing to hear shouting, doors slamming, or worse. A lot of people think a rough childhood breaks you. Maybe it does, or maybe it forges you. That's what it did for me. I didn't know it at the time, but it was a sort of early test, and I've always liked a challenge. I remember trying to understand why people acted the way they did, why my father could be brilliant but also cruel. I asked questions no one answered, and my mother, she tried. She really did, but sometimes even love can't change a pattern. I started thinking a lot more than other kids, and I realized if I could figure out the world myself, maybe I wouldn't have to be part of it the way it was. Maybe I could escape, not physically, but in a sense, mentally, build something that mattered. By the time I was 5, my mind wouldn't stop, and that's when the real work began. Not school, not friends, not the adults around me, but understanding how to make things happen. Ideas. Ideas everywhere, exploding, never stopping. That's when I knew I wasn't like other kids. By the time I was 5 or 6, I thought I was insane. My brain wouldn't stop. Ideas kept bouncing around one after the other. I'd sit in class and stare at the walls, thinking about how the world worked. Atoms, energy, space. Nobody else seemed to see it the way I did. I thought maybe I was broken, but really, I was just different. I started reading everything I could get my hands on. Encyclopedias, science fiction, technical manuals, anything that explained how things worked. And then I tried building. Small things at first, circuits, little gadgets, until one day I did something bigger.
I can get money for making a computer game? Well, that sounds like fun.
By age 10, I discovered computers. At first it was just games. I loved games. But soon I realized I could make my own. I taught myself to code, line by line, late into the night. And at 12, I sold my first program, a game called Blastar. $500. Not much, but proof. Proof that I could turn ideas into something real, that I could shape the world, not just sit in it. By the time I left South Africa, my mind was always moving, always building, always imagining. I didn't know exactly what I'd become, but I knew I'd leave something behind, something big, and that meant leaving the place I called home. South Africa didn't feel like the place where the future would happen. I loved my family in some ways, but the world outside, it was small, limited, confined. I wanted to go where ideas could grow, where technology, ambition, and risk weren't punished, but rewarded. I left home at 17, alone. No safety net, no plan beyond learning and building. I wanted to understand how the universe worked, and how the economy worked, so I could make things happen. Physics and economics became my weapons. I studied at Queen's University in Canada first, then transferred to the University of Pennsylvania. Dual degrees, physics and economics. Some people said I was crazy trying to do both, but I didn't care. understanding the universe and understanding money, that combination would become critical later. If you know the rules of the world and the rules of energy, you can shape the future. Leaving home wasn't just about escape, it was preparation. Every challenge, every lonely flight, every sleepless night, I was building something inside me. Resilience, persistence, a mind that wouldn't quit. And then, in 1995, with a computer, a car, and $2,000, I arrived in Silicon Valley. That's when the real test began. The world I'd imagined, the one I wanted, it wasn't going to give itself to me. I had to take it. Here's what I did. It was 1995. I arrived in Silicon Valley with almost nothing. A beat-up car, a second-hand computer, and $2,000. Everyone here was chasing the next big thing, and I realized I had no safety net, no shortcuts. If I wanted to build the future, I'd have to make it myself. So I tried to get a job at Netscape. No response. I thought, okay, if I can't find a path, I'll create my own. That's when I decided to build Zip2, a platform to help newspapers move online. It wasn't glamorous, it wasn't easy, but it was necessary. And necessity is the mother of everything. Starting a company at 24 with negative money in my pocket is like staring into an abyss while eating glass. I slept on the floor of our rented office. Showers, YMCA. Meals, whatever I could afford. Every day was a test. Every day the possibility of failure was real. We started small, just me, my brother, a friend, and a handful of salespeople working on commission. We went to every newspaper in town, showing them the future of media online. Most ignored us, some laughed, but a few saw the potential. Zip2 grew slowly, then suddenly. We landed deals with bigger newspapers, including the New York Times. Then Compaq came knocking. In 1999, after 4 years, they bought Zip2 for $305 million. I went from sleeping on a couch to having millions overnight. But the money, it wasn't the point. It was proof. I could turn ideas into reality. Most people would have stopped there. $1 million car, success at 24. But I wasn't most people. I wasn't done. If Zip2 was the first step, the next steps were going to change the world. I'm only here, and you're watching this now through sheer determination and hard work and passion, devoting myself to this. If you're enjoying my story and this movie, just know it's not made by any company or big team. It's one guy, a laptop, months of research, AI tools, and a whole lot of heart. All we ask is that you subscribe to help us keep creating stories. It's free, takes 1 second, and helps keep us independent. Thanks. Okay, back to the video. After Zip2, I had money for the first time. Enough to feel like the world was mine, and enough to crash into it, literally. I bought a McLaren F1. It was beautiful, powerful, and terrifying. I crashed it within a year. Lesson learned, speed without control is just chaos. But beyond the cars, it was the feeling of accomplishment that stayed with me. Zip2 proved that ideas could become reality, that I could create value from nothing. It was intoxicating. But it wasn't enough. I wanted more, something bigger, something that could change the world, not just make headlines. That's when I started thinking about online banking. People were still mailing checks, writing cash orders, dealing with fees and delays. I thought, this can be better, way better. The future isn't just in code or cars or rockets. It's in changing how people live, how people interact with money, with information, with the world. In 1999, I founded X.com, an online bank. People laughed. They said, this will never work. But I didn't care. The rules weren't set yet. We were building the future, and the future doesn't wait for permission. X.com would eventually become PayPal, but the road wasn't smooth. I was fired as CEO while on my honeymoon, a painful blow. Most people would have quit. Most people would have stayed quiet, but not me. I saw the bigger picture. The company would survive, and I would survive, and eventually, we would all win. Losing control of X.com didn't stop me. If anything, it lit a fire, because winning isn't about never failing, it's about bouncing back, bigger, faster, smarter, and the next chapter would change everything.
All my my life I've barely spoken. Your words have been so broken. I've been under your hypnosis. Why did I sip that potion?
In 2002, eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion. I walked away with $165 million. For most people, that's a life-changing fortune. For me, it was just the beginning. Because I didn't want comfort, I wanted impact. I wanted to do something that could redefine humanity itself. People thought I'd disappear to some beach somewhere, that I'd sip cocktails and play video games. But I wasn't built for leisure. I was built for the impossible. I wanted to go where no one dared, literally to the sky and beyond. I founded SpaceX with a single goal: make life multiplanetary. Everyone thought it was insane. Friends, family, investors, they all said the odds were impossible. But history favors the stubborn. The first 3 rockets failed, exploded, burned, turned into nothing. Each failure cost millions and a bit of hope. Our team was exhausted, everyone doubting. I had one last chance, one rocket, one shot. If it failed, SpaceX would end. Then came the 4th launch, Falcon 1. We made orbit. I cried, not just for me or the team, for humanity. That little rocket proved that we could defy the impossible. SpaceX succeeded, but the mission was just beginning. The world's problems weren't just in the sky, they were on the ground. And the next battle, making Earth sustainable, would demand just as much courage, vision, and stubbornness. Around the same time as SpaceX's breakthrough, I invested in Tesla. Electric cars. People laughed. They said the world would never switch from gasoline, that EVs were a fantasy. But I wasn't building cars, I was building the future. 2008 was the darkest year. Both SpaceX and Tesla were days, maybe hours, from bankruptcy. Every move was critical. Every decision could be the end. I had to put everything I had into saving both companies. On Christmas Eve, I got a call from NASA. They awarded SpaceX a contract. It wasn't just money, it was survival. That one contract saved Tesla too. Suddenly, the impossible became possible. Tesla was still a gamble, roadblocks everywhere, investors doubting, factories failing. But failure wasn't an option. We had to prove that electric cars could be better, faster, smarter, and more desirable than gasoline cars. It was more than cars. It was a war against the status quo, against inertia, against disbelief. Every mile we drove, every battery we perfected, every skeptical article we endured, it was all part of a bigger mission, changing the way the world moves. With SpaceX launched and Tesla fighting for survival, the path forward was clear. The future wasn't just a dream, it was something I would build with my own hands, one impossible challenge at a time. After 2008, everything changed. Tesla started to find its feet. SpaceX began launching Falcon 9 rockets that actually returned. The dream of reusable rockets, something people said was impossible, became real. But I wasn't stopping there. The world needed more than cars and rockets. It needed solutions to energy, transportation, and technology itself. I wanted Tesla to be more than a car company. It had to change the way we produce and use energy. Solar, batteries, self-driving technology, all pieces of the same puzzle. If we didn't build it, no one else would. SpaceX was no different. Every rocket launch was a test, every failure a lesson. I learned to embrace failure as a teacher. The first few Falcon 9s exploded. The next ones barely flew. But each time we got closer, until the day we made it. And we landed it. We weren't just building rockets or cars, we were rebuilding the future itself. Every innovation was a step toward a world powered by clean energy, connected by satellites, and capable of reaching other planets. We had to show people that the impossible wasn't just possible, it was inevitable if you were willing to do the work. And so we built. Every sleepless night, every boardroom battle, every rocket, every car, every line of code, it all led to one purpose, proving that humanity can achieve more than it ever imagined. We were no longer surviving, we were leading the charge into tomorrow. But all of this came at a price, a cost most people don't see. Success isn't just about innovation, it's about sacrifice, endurance, and the willingness to face your own limits. Success has a way of taking more than it gives. When people see rockets landing or Tesla cars on the road, they see the result. They don't see the sleepless nights, the missed birthdays, the divorces, the stress that never goes away. I've paid a price most people would never imagine. There were times I worked 120 hours a week. There were times I didn't eat properly, didn't sleep properly, didn't see my children. You think being a CEO is glamorous? It isn't. It's grueling. And it takes a toll on relationships, marriages, friendships, family. Divorces, lawsuits, public scrutiny, all of it was part of the cost. I've been called crazy, reckless, egotistical, and maybe I am, but I've learned something important. If something is important enough, even if the odds are against you, you pursue it, even if it costs everything else. Sacrifice isn't glamorous. It's painful. It's lonely. It's relentless. But it's the cost of pushing humanity forward. The cost of dreaming big and actually building those dreams. Every setback, every broken relationship, every sleepless night, it all became part of the fuel for what was next. Because the world doesn't wait for the cautious, it waits for the relentless. And if you want to survive, truly survive, you have to be willing to pay the price.
Mars wasn't just a dream. It wasn't a science experiment or a PR stunt. It was a lifeboat for humanity. I realized that if we stayed on Earth, we risked extinction. War, climate, accidents, technology gone wrong. SpaceX exists so that consciousness survives, so that life continues. The early days were brutal. Our first 3 rockets, explosions, money gone, hopes dashed, investors calling every day asking for refunds. The 4th launch, that was do or die. If it failed, SpaceX was finished. When that 4th rocket lifted off and reached orbit, it wasn't just a technical victory. It was survival. It was proof that audacity, sacrifice, and relentless iteration could beat the odds. After that, everything changed. Investors came back. Talented people joined. We could dream bigger. Reusable rockets, Mars colonization, Starship. Humanity's future wasn't just in our hands, it was in our rockets. Mars is more than red soil. It's a chance for a fresh start, a laboratory for innovation, a reminder that survival requires ambition beyond comfort, beyond fear. Because the universe doesn't wait for the cautious, it waits for the bold. And if you want to leave a mark, you have to reach for a planet that's never been touched. Mars was the dream, but Earth still had problems. Transportation, energy, communication. If we didn't fix those, we wouldn't survive long enough to leave for another planet. That's why I started thinking bigger. Tesla wasn't just a car company. It was a mission to accelerate sustainable energy. People laughed at me when I said we'd make electric cars desirable, profitable, and even fast. But here we are, changing how the world moves. Starlink was next. Global connectivity, the internet for everyone, everywhere. I realized that to survive, humanity needs access, not just to information, but to opportunity. Neuralink? That was a different frontier. Human-computer symbiosis. If we don't enhance cognition, we risk being left behind by AI. It's about survival, evolution, and understanding our own brains before technology outpaces us. It's all connected. Tesla, SpaceX, Starlink, Neuralink. Each piece builds the other. Each innovation prepares us for a future where humanity can thrive, even if Earth fails. Some people call me crazy. Maybe I am. But the world doesn't remember the cautious. It remembers the ones who reach beyond, who risk everything for the future. People call me crazy. They say my ideas are impossible. Maybe they're right. But the people who shape the future, they always seem crazy at first. I didn't do this for fame. I didn't do it for money. I did it because someone had to. Someone had to take the risks, push the boundaries, and build the tools for tomorrow.
SpaceX isn't just rockets. It's insurance for humanity. Tesla isn't just cars. It's the future of energy. Starlink isn't just satellites. It's connection, freedom, survival. Neuralink isn't just science. It's evolution. I've faced failures, bankruptcy, public scrutiny, personal sacrifices, sleepless nights, relationships strained, criticism from every direction. But if something is important enough, the odds don't matter. I am not the hero of this story. The hero is humanity, the one that survives, innovates, reaches for the stars, and refuses to be defined by limits. I'm just building the tools. Maybe I'm crazy, but the people who build the future always are.